Great news! Water horses are here, literally, but also figuratively, and they are the best way to cross any unfrozen water without losing any air, while boats are just there for people who don't care, and so learning is good, but I've also got a seed and coordinates for anyone who wants to get the new most valuable armor without having to go to the hood. This is everything you need to know about the Nautilus, and it comes as part of my brand new ultimate guide to the Nautilus in the Mounts of Mayhem drop. Hello, I'm ABX Toycat, and today I'll be guiding you through all of the major features that relate to actually getting new mounts in this drop, and it's really important that we reference this because the Nautilus is a mob that is the major thing that makes this the Mounts of Mayhem, but many people might not have seen it since its original reveal 3 months ago, and so what exactly is the Nautilus? Well, the Nautilus, as well as the zombie Nautilus, can spawn in any ocean biome. Anywhere that there's a lot of water that wasn't artificially created, or a river, is something that you can find, and they will look like this, unless it's a warm ocean, which you'll recognize from all the coral, in which case it'll look like this. Wow, my video editing skills are so good. The difference between these is huge, and you need to understand it right now because it's purely visual. This is a cosmetic difference only. In the same way that I am playing as Steve, but actually my Steve is dressed as an ocelot, there's no difference in how any skin interacts in Minecraft, and the same is true for the skins for the Nautilus. However, it's worth mentioning that although the Nautiluses are the same in terms of what they do with how you feed them, there is a variant of the Nautilus that is a bit different, and that is the zombie Nautilus. This is the zombie Nautilus, which is always spawned with a drowned on top of it. This is the new nightmare of the seas, because you might think, there's some really cool thing that I can look forward to, but in exchange for that incredibly cool thing, you have to deal with what might be the biggest threat in Minecraft yet. It's a trident-wielding drowned that can actually swim faster than you. Well, I say faster than you, that's true unless you feed one of these guys. This is a brand new feeding animation that takes the pufferfish out of a bucket of pufferfish and turns it into Nautiluses. You can also use the stackable version of this to ride yourself a Nautilus. Then you can put a saddle on it, and then you'll be able to outride the zombie Nautilus if you want to. Or if you like the idea of being a bit derivative and you think that, you know what, I want to do something and kind of give back, let's talk about the zombie Nautilus, which is the equivalent of Switzerland. You see, this is a mob that will not attack anyone unless you attack it first. It will help out its drowned rider because it's only, it's loyal only to the person riding it at the time, the person financing it, and so in this case you can see that this zombie Nautilus is going to be loyal to me if I can make it fall in love, which I just did, and now we can saddle it and it's rideable in exactly the same way. There is no functional difference once you have them, besides the various ways that a zombie might not be ideal, but this is a fun thing that you might not know, but great news, you can have a zombie Nautilus without having to heal. Speaking of things you might want to do with healing, did you know there are multiple tiers of armor that you can get for the Nautilus? They come in copper, and netherite, and gold, and diamond, and iron, and you might hear about all of those tiers and think, well, it's obvious which one I want to get, but there is a downside to trying to get it. So first things first, I need to talk about the armor that you get from each of them. They are as shown, so here is the values. Interestingly, as you can see, gold actually has more healing potential than iron. This is true for horse armor too, but it's not true for people armor. I'm not sure what it is that they love about gold, but just goes to show the Switzerland connection again. And what's interesting is the fact that if you want to find these armors, they're all found in the same places, that is to say, any of the underwater structures, buried treasures, ocean ruins, or shipwrecks, but interestingly, they all have different chances. If you want to find copper Nautilus armor, it's a 10.8% chance. You half that for iron, you half it again for gold, and you almost divide it by 3 to get diamond. It's just a 1.1% chance of getting diamond Nautilus armor, which, given the extra upgrade, might not seem worthwhile, but if you want to get netherite Nautilus armor, you're going to require that. How do I get netherite Nautilus armor? Well, obviously, just like any other thing, we take the diamond version off it, we get a netherite upgrade template, and then we get a netherite ingot. If you're worried about doing this, because let's be real, how often do you really need to have that much armor? Just know that although this will take a netherite ingot, it basically only costs 7 diamonds, because if you have one smithing template, you can have as many as you like, and so as sorry as I am to the piglins in the depths of your nether, this is a 1 diamond plus a 1% chance plus, sorry, one netherite ingot plus a 1% chance plus 7 diamond cost, which is very, very high, but is it worthwhile? Well, let's go find a friend and let me show you. This is my Neverite looking zombie Nautilus, and as you can see, it's seriously cool looking, and so we have a new giant flex for Minecraft. But speaking of giant flexes, I do think that most people aren't going to be using this most of the time. It's for crossing big oceans and occasionally on land, because as you can see, they're not actually very good even on ice. So funnily enough, now we have a situation where this is the new best way to go in water, whereas the boat is going to be the best way for ice. This is something that does not match reality. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen quite a few Arctic places, and you have to use icebreaker ships there. They're very, very slow, and most people to cross the Atlantic don't use Nautiluses, but it's way more fun that you do. And let's be honest, you're still going to use the wings, like in my last Ultimate Guide. Speaking of last Ultimate Guide, here is something fun. There is a brand new variant of the skeleton that can spawn in deserts. He does not have his own trial chamber spawner at time of recording. In future updates, that may change. But what's interesting to note is that he doesn't really relate to mounts until he spawns with the camel husk. This is the camel husk. He'll spawn with each of these riders, the husk, and also the brand new parched, and you can find them in deserts at night. They are terrifying, and if you kill them, you get the camel husk. What's good about a camel husk? Well, as you can see, this is a camel husk. He's giant. He's a regular camel, but get this, he's undead, so he'll burn, rather, unlike the zombie horse, he won't burn in the sun, but he will be able to swim, which is really good. Speaking, so, keep in mind that now we have mobs that can swim. What does that mean for, say, the zombie horse? Because zombie horses have this fun ability where when they spawn in, they immediately start burning. Well, there's a fun game method, because when zombie horses spawn, I need to go get myself a saddle. When zombie horses spawn, you have a very limited amount of time to get them into the water. Okay, I'm gonna have to steal, I'm sorry, you don't need the saddle as bad as my good pal over here. So let's put the saddle on him, and let's show you that now zombie horses are actually a valuable way to swim across water, but all horses are able to do this. This, I believe, used to be possible way, way back in the day, but now Minecraft has decided horses and water should work together. And so have they paid for their sins when it comes to... well, that zombie horse has certainly paid for Mojang's sins, but have they paid for their sins with regards to the horse boat? I think genuinely yes. It's not as good as putting it in a boat for long journeys, but it is still something that makes it much more usable, and I am personally happy. Speaking of being personally happy though, I love, sharing all these fun things about the brand's new update with you, but I do have to say that when it comes to the Mounts of Mayhem, and the Nautilus in particular, this is the mob that will most require rare loot, which is why you might need to know that actually, if you want to get your hands on some cool stuff with this, you're going to need to have a decent seed, and one of my favorite things to do for a new update is to provide said seed. So alongside actually creating this world, as Chris does for most of these Ultimate Guides, I actually also asked him to find a decent seed for finding Nautilus armor. So here it is. This is the result of typing in these numbers to your Minecraft world seed generator, and obviously if you're on console, I'm sad, but you will have to copy it that way. If you're on phone or PC or any other platform, you can copy and paste it from the description, where you'll also find all of these coordinates. Wow, there sure is a lot of them. That is all of the Nautilus armor found within 1,000 blocks of spawn, and the reason for this is that this is a very ocean heavy seed. So this is the ideal seed for Nautiluses, not just because of the fact that you can go right down here and, okay, you can see some trident drowns, but also you'll find some Nautiluses that will spawn right here, but also on top of that, and the fun surface that this has, you'll find that this is a decent seed in other ways, because just behind your spawn, if you go around this mountain and through this little gap in between, then you'll notice that over the top here, there is a snowy village. These are my least favorite village type, but if you're in a world that is filled with frozen ocean, it's the best you can hope for, and as you can see, they contain a bunch of wheat, if you can get there first, and enough beetroot to make at least 3 beetroot soups, so you will be fed, and you will get your basic wood if you want it, and even some firefly bushes. But the most interesting thing about this seed, once we go past this ravine, is what happens when we head towards the most valuable Nautilus armor. So the Nautilus armor from these coordinates, as I mentioned, kind of matches the distribution from earlier, where copper is by far the most common and the worst. But what's interesting is if you head to some of these coordinates, you might be thoroughly convinced that they are incorrect and that we've lied to you. Take, for example, the diamond Nautilus armor. You head over here and you're like, Toycat, I don't see any, so I'm at 184 and minus 248. There is no shipwreck here, there's no ocean ruin here, and therefore I've been lied to. You might think to yourself, this is ridiculous, you have made some mistake and you've mixed up something or other, but actually, let me show you one of my favorite things about this seed, because if you just dig down a few blocks, what do you find? It's a buried treasure chest. You could be playing this seed and by pure chance you might find 5 cooked salmon, That's kind of random given how far we are from the ocean. But you could find 5 cooked salmon, you could find 6 iron, 3 gold, 2 diamonds, plus 7 emeralds. That's all very good. But even better, the diamond Nautilus armor, the rarest type, a 1.1% chance of spawning, and a heart of the sea and a nice water breathing potion on top. This is incredible, and although I do have to question how much sense it makes, again, just a reminder, we are closer to deep slate, it's literally right there, than we are to the surface of the water. But in either case, there's enough cooked salmon in there for a while, there's enough iron to get you head started, and so weirdly enough, this is a seed where you can get the most valuable water protection, but you won't find it anywhere near water. And I guess we can say at least we didn't have to go near lava. The rest of the seed has a lot of benefits for people who do like the frozen ocean vibe, because there's a lot of ice pre-placed. So if you want an excuse to use your boat, this is probably the best seed for you. If you're looking for a Nautilus heavy seed in terms of using the Nautilus itself, instead you'll have to head a decent way in any direction, because this is a winter wonderland, and although that is very seasonally appropriate, this is the winter drop after all. If you want something for the rest of your year, and indeed a long-term survival, I would recommend using the seed far away from spawn in a way that you specifically don't want people to visit you, or becoming the sort of person who terraforms their terrain, makes the snowy turn into nothing else, because ultimately, who are we if we're not willing to make a bit of global warming in Minecraft? Speaking of global warming in Minecraft, if you want to contribute to global warming in the world, you can like this video, because every like has to be stored on a server, which technically speaking, increases the load by a very fractional amount, which increases your electricity draw. And if you want to really increase the amount of global warming, you can consider subscribing or becoming a channel member, because every single, tip and or membership given to this channel is spent on horrifically CO2-inducing activities. And what do you mean that's not a very good pitch for becoming a subscriber? I think it's great, and I also think that Nautiluses are great, and you can get them very soon. Speaking of very soon, I look forward to seeing you for some of my challenges coming this Streammas, but goodbye. For now. Ooh, look at my arm. Who needs emotes when you've got this?